Hey everyone, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. So the state of California says that they're going to be providing some retroactive grants through ARPA for broadband. Be right back. Thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here with Broadband Deployment News. So I thought this was interesting. I don't know if this has been, maybe other states have done this. This is the first time I've seen this. So I want to let you know about this, especially if you're a service provider in South Carolina that might have already put in some broadband infrastructure. So the American Rescue Plan Act was one of the coronavirus acts that were passed to help states with various things. And ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, had infrastructure in there, and a lot of that could be for various things, but a lot of it was specifically for broadband. And there are two funds in there. There's the Capital Projects Fund and the Local Fiscal Recovery Act funds that were in there. And states have been using that. I did something the other day about state of Missouri had several hundred million that it was allocating for broadband projects that had been identified. State of Georgia's used that a couple of times. Many other states have gone into the ARPA funds and are applying that to broadband projects in the state. Well, I saw this that South Carolina is letting folks, I'm going to come back to this timeline here, but they are basically retroactively looking at projects that were done over a period of time and saying that if these projects were completed at a time, then you can apply for funds to help defray the costs that really have already been sunk on that. So I'll just read through this. So 2023 Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, that's the ARPA Fund, SLFRF, Accelerated Deployment Grant Programs, that's the South Carolina management of that, seeks to compensate a portion of those construction costs for the expansion of broadband infrastructure to households, businesses, and communities in the state that were unserved. The ADGP application period opens January 30th, 2023 and closes February 28th of this year. So it just opened on Monday. The grant program is designed to reimburse a portion of those construction costs associated with broadband projects that were constructed and completed without any public funding between March 15th, 2021 and June 30th, 2022. So this could be service providers in the area that were providing or building service in an area that was unserved and did that on their own dime, and now they can go ahead and apply for some funds for that. Projects are eligible for an opportunity for reimbursement of a portion of those construction costs. Only those broadband construction projects implemented without any public grant funding are eligible for this program. Projects participating in the USDA's Reconnect program, the FCC's RDOF program, Connect America Fund, that was the predecessor to RDOF, County America Rescue Plan Act, that's got ARPA funds, CARES 1 or 2 or Rural Broadband Grant Program, or other public, state, or federal grant funding are not eligible, private investments only. Participation in the federal state universal fund does not ban an application in this program, so it's got nothing to do with USF and participating in that. The South Carolina General Assembly has allocated $214,234,345. So I'm assuming that means that that is what is applicable to these retroactive payments, or at least, you know, they may get requests for this and then can do that retroactively, or it's possible that they could use some of those funds for maybe future projects. I forget when the cutoff is on that. Less administrative costs, to provide financial assistance to install and deliver broadband infrastructure in unserved areas throughout the state. So I'm assuming that's going to be the less than 25 by 3 threshold. Pursuant to these acts, they are American Rescue Act's authorization, the Office of Broadband Coordinator, also referred to as the South Carolina Broadband Office, which is housed within the South Carolina Office of Regulatory Staff, yada yada, may include an opportunity to reimburse a portion of construction costs incurred on or after March 15th, 2021, related to the expansion of broadband during the pandemic. All expenditures, reimbursements, and grants awarded by the SCBBO must be in compliance with ARPA guidelines and the methods and guidance issued by the U.S. Department of Treasury for the allocation and oversight of ARPA funding. ISPs and stakeholders that have filled out the data access request form have been granted access to download the data through the ORS Citrix ShareFile site or through South Carolina Digital Drive. Data access request form can be found here. There's a link to that. I put a link to this page in the description of this video, so you can find that there. There's some other, you see other stuff here. You got the grant application guidelines, grant application budget summary. There's a eligibility map and table. So this is probably, I haven't looked at this. Let's take a quick look and see what that looks like. And then there's presentation materials, a webinar, which is coming up tomorrow. So if you're interested in this in South Carolina, you want to participate, there's a webinar tomorrow. And frequently asked questions, updated on 1:30. Let's see, this should be the state. So this is, I'm assuming, showing, I guess I can make this bigger here. Let's see, use that button. So this is showing unserved census blocks. So it's got the census blocks here that you can look at for South Carolina. So right there, all that red stuff. So not, I guess you could zoom in on that and see. But, so basically, again, unserved areas has to be privately funded. This was a project that was privately funded, no federal monies. That's basically the case with any kind of grant, federal grant like this. You can't build on top of an area that had already received funds. Certainly, hopefully, it would not be unserved. It could be, I guess, if you were looking at something like CAF2, and maybe they were doing early stages of that were like 10-1. But in this case, even if there was CAF money and it's unserved, that cannot be an area that would be that could get funds from this, according to this particular document. So anyway, thought that was interesting. Like I say, I haven't seen that yet from the standpoint of ARPA funds being used retroactively like that. It may be the case, I just hadn't noticed it. So here South Carolina is going back and saying, hey, if you already built the network, the infrastructure during this time frame, hey, here's some money that you can get. So that's pretty interesting. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button, click the little bell to be notified when I'm live. If you found this interesting, please click the like button. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.